This is the video tutorial for the Happy Days Trick and Treat Cauldron. It comes in 2 sizes and holds lots of sweets. It includes the template to make the face as I've done on this one if you wish. And this is how we make it. You will need a selection of Halloween themed fabric and some interfacing. If you're adding the pumpkin base, you'll need some heat and bond no-sew and some orange fabric. I'm now making the strap. I'm working on a sample piece as it's much easier to show you on camera. Take your strap fabric that you've cut out and fold it in half lengthways and press. Open out and then place this edge on this crease line that you've just made, and once again press. Do the same for this side. This edge to the centre, and press. And then take a strip of interfacing and place it bumpy side down. Make sure it's the right way down, and then press over, and then all together fold over. Nice press. Add a few clips. Next, take it over to your sewing machine and sew fairly close to the edge along one side and along the other side. I always increase my stitch length to a 4. Now I'm swapping to my full size handle and it should look like this. Using your template, cut out 6 pieces of lining fabric. If you're using directional fabric, remember that the flat edge is the top. Then cut out 6 pieces in your chosen fabrics for the outer and add interfacing to the back as I've done. We're now making the lining. Place 2 of your lining pieces right sides together. Make sure that they all line up, and then add some clips or pins around the curved edge. I've added my clips and I'm now going to take it over the sewing machine and, using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, carefully sew all the way along. Remember to backstitch at the top and at the bottom. I've sewn using a 1/4 inch all the way down. Now take your next piece and once again line everything up. Quite important to line the top as well. Make sure that's nice and flat, and then add some clips. Now take it over to your sewing machine and once again, using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, backstitch to start, all the way around the curve to the end, and backstitch again to finish. That's 3 altogether. Now carry on joining the other pieces. That's my 6 pieces all joined. Finally, to join everything together. Exactly the same, line everything up. And add some clips. I've added my clips around the final pieces, and I've also remembered to leave my gap sign, and now I'm going to sew as I did before, joining the last pieces together, leaving a gap for turning. You'll be left with your lining all joined up and with a gap for turning. This is how we made the face. Place the orange fabric right sides down, so pretty side down. Take a small piece of your heat and bond no sew and place it on the back of your fabric, and you'll feel that it's quite bobbly. And then simply take your iron and press into place. Place your template on the back of your heat and bond and carefully draw around it. I've drawn round the mouth, the two eyes and the nose, and now I'm going to carefully cut them all out. Peel off the backing paper and place where you'd want them, remembering that the top edge, the straight edge, is the top. Remember, the bottom of the bag is here, the widest part. When you're happy with the position, iron into place. Because we've used no sew heat and bond, there's no need to sew it. Use this as one of your normal outer pieces. We're now working on the outer, and as we did for the lining, place right sides together. Double check that this is the top of your bag if you're using directional fabric. So right sides together, line everything up and add some clips along one side of the curve. I've added clips to one side of my curved area, and as we did for the lining, I'm going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance, starting the top, working way around. Remember, once again, back stitch at the bottom and at the top. I've sewed all the way around the one side. Now I'm going to open it out. I'm doing alternate colours, so I'll take my next black piece, place it right sides together, line up this top edge and all the way around. Take your time with this and then add a few clips. I did my clips. Now I'm going to take it over the sewing machine and once again sew 1/4 inch all the way around. That's my first 3 joined together, and I'm going to carry on joining the rest of the pieces together. That's my outer all joined up, and now I'm going to turn it the right way out. I'm going to attach my handle. Take your handle that you made earlier and place it on one of the seams. Make sure that the raw edge of your strap and the raw edge of your bag line up, and then, whoops, add a clip. I've added the other end of the strap directly opposite the first one and added a clip. Next, tack your handle into position both sides, so fairly close to the top. You won't be seeing these stitches in the final make. I've tacked on my handles, and now we've got to put the outer, which is turned the right way, inside the lining, which is still turned the wrong way. Line up your seams and your top edges, and as I've done, add some clips all the way around. Now take it over to the sewing machine, 1/4 inch seam allowance, sew carefully all the way around, joining the outer and the lining together. I've sewn all the way around, joining the outer to the lining, and now I'm going to turn it the right way out through the gap I left in the lining. I've turned it the right way out and pushed in my lining. I've sewn up the gap and I've also pressed. I'm now going to top stitch carefully all the way around, making sure that my handles are out of the way. I've top stitched all the way around, and that's your Happy Days Trick and Treat Cauldron all finished.